This is Momentum with Sidekick, the podcast that explores what's shifting in business and leadership and what it can mean for you right now.
I'm Bonnie, and this is Nora. We're both from Sidekick, where we help leaders turn complexity into clarity and ideas into action.
So let's dive in.
Okay, here we are again.
Excited to be back.
What I want to talk to you about today.
Okay.
I've been seeing these things.
Oh, no.
Culture eats strategy for breakfast.
Oh, wow.
And it always sounds so competitive. Like one's better than the other.
Yeah.
But it got me thinking. So I think it's worth a conversation.
Sounds good.
So when I see that, I go like, yeah, culture, strategy, how do they relate? And it started to mean something to me. So even though I do think both really kind of need to go hand in hand, maybe that's the point of it. The fact that kind of right now, this sentiment is turning into like culture eats strategy for breakfast, I think is for a reason. So strategy, I think we all know is truly like important for any business to kind of have. And it is what sets them apart, what differentiates them. At Sidekick, we always like to define it as kind of that set of choices that you make for your business to win.
Yeah.
And whether it's
love
win or succeed, to have the impact that you want to have as an organization. But we've also been talking about kind of the rise of AI and where kind of all the creativity and the thinking and everyone has access to all of these resources. So it got me thinking about like, is strategy in the long run going to be the thing that's really kind of unique or differentiating for organizations? Like, I think in theory, or arguably, strategies can be copied. The part that I think is less likely to be copied is the culture, the people, the systems that bring your strategy to life. So really the heart and soul of your organization. So that's where I started to kind of maybe get on board with the expression of culture eats strategy for breakfast a little bit, because especially in these times with AI changes and kind of focusing in even more on like your human value, your human capacities, along with geopolitical shifts and kind of a bit of tension on like, where do we belong and what are your, like that sense of belonging or lack thereof, I think. As well as hybrid work that we also have been talking about, like remote work. How does that play into kind of bringing your strategy and your business to life? So a lot of things shifting in the world that I think are making a case for culture becoming more relevant and important than it already is.
Totally. Within professional walls, outside of professional walls, I think there's like a lot to unpack there. And I'm so on board because I do think for all of the circumstances that you painted there, culture is what can unite and divide people. And we don't need to explain that then more than, living today. That's seen pretty clearly. And I've done a lot of reading on this and it's popping up everywhere. But cultures have really changed, like let's focus on inside of professional walls. Cultures have really changed over the last 5 years. There was some work done now that we're coming up to kind of the 5-year anniversary of the pandemic and things shutting down, and that really being quite radical for people in a short time. Yeah. So there's a lot of kind of studies coming out. And there was one that was looking at, I think Gallup did it, of 65% of the companies, and I think it was 5,000 organizations that they surveyed, said their organizational culture has radically shifted. Radically.
In the last 5 or 10 years or
5 years.
5 years, yeah.
Like radically is like an extreme word to be using. So I agree. It's shifting. And I don't think this conversation necessarily needs to be about if culture matters, but it's more like, how is it formed? How does it evolve? Like, what's happening for those 65% of the 5,000, whatever that math is, and how do we evolve with it?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. So it's a key question, I think, is knowing that so many organizational cultures have shifted. there might be something there of like what got us here is not going to get us there, or it was just not working anymore. Strategies may have shifted, and cultures may have had to shift along with it, or maybe they shifted and then caused strategies. So it's kind of, where does it start and stop, and how does it interact with strategy? How does it get formed? How does it evolve? So culture eating strategy for breakfast, maybe it's more around who are the cooks in the kitchen?
Yeah. And what's your role in it?
Yeah. So let's take a closer look at that and kind of, as we usually do, explore, and then we'll promise at the end we'll
bring it back.
Make it make sense.